Welcome, everyone, to the Sunday Sewcase. I am thrilled to be with you today. This is our first Sunday Sewcase of the year, so thank you for joining us. Welcome back. And I am proud and thrilled to be here with quilt artist extraordinaire, Miss LaToya Chanel Thompson.
Thank you
Yay!
for having me.
So, in our tradition, I'm going to introduce you to LaToya Thompson, and we're going to talk today about her art, her work, her passions, what drives her, and we get a chance to have a wonderful conversation. So, thank you, LaToya, for joining. Let me tell the people, the good people who are here today, a little bit about you, and then we can jump right in. So, folks, LaToya Thompson is an African American quilt artist who sees her work through visions, often revealed in dreams shaped by past and present experiences. Born in the Bronx and raised in Nesmith, South Carolina, she traces her quilting roots to her grandmother, the late Mrs. Sally Wilson, who inspired storytelling through fabric. LaToya holds a degree in studio art from Benedict College and a master's degree in museum studies from Southeastern University at New Orleans. Her work has been exhibited nationally and internationally, including the African American Museum of Dallas and the Embassy of South Africa in Washington, D.C. She has received numerous honors, including the Moja Arts Festival Honorable Mention, Best of Show, and the Art Flow Jurors' Choice Award. Thompson serves as an artist in residence at Richland Library in Columbia, South Carolina, and we are members of the National African American Quilters Guild, which is where I got to know the lovely Miss Thompson. So, welcome, LaToya. Thank you for joining us. Awesome. So, of course, as we do as Sunday Showcase, we like to learn more about you and what brought you to all of the art that you make and create for the world. So, tell us a little bit about what brought you to quilting.
Oh my goodness. I guess I was like, you could say, born into quilting.
Mhm.
As you stated earlier, I was born in Bronx, New York. Was raised in Nesmith with my grandmother. Um, my grandmother had been quilting all my life. When we used to come and visit in the summer, I would see her quilting as a small child. So when I moved here, and starting to see her more with the quilting, the sewing, just seeing her using clothes that we had, clothes that we grew out of, clothes that was damaged. She would cut
Mhm.
them up and make all these beautiful quilts. So when the winter came, our clothes was re remade into these quilts that kept us warm.
Right.
And one quilt kept us warm. So just imagine having two of those quilts on you. We couldn't
Mhm.
even turn around in the bed. So,
Right.
um, and then like, again, me moving from New York to South Carolina on a farm, that's like a culture shock.
Mhm.
And I always felt like the odd one among my first cousins because they was here already, so they already had a little clique, and
Right.
I was like the outsider. So art was always in my blood. My
Mhm.
brother was an artist, so I used to follow him around. He was a photographer. He used to draw, so I tried to do stuff that he did. And then
Right.
my Aunt Ann, she was the more the culture person in my life. So we would go to museum and culture events. So when I moved here, I didn't have that culture stuff to go to because, like I said, we was in a rural area.
Mhm.
So I would stay in the house. I didn't go outside and climb trees or make mud pies like the rest of them. So when I saw my grandmother cutting these fabrics out, I was like, wow, that's something different. But at
Mhm.
the same time, I didn't know it was art.
Right.
So I kind of stick under her and play with the cats and cut fabric with her.
Wonderful. So oftentimes, of course, as you mentioned, and in my case too, it is our family connection that brings us to this work. It was my grandmother as well, who was the quilter, and we all knew, even though we didn't pick it up immediately, it was a very special thing, right, to get grandma's quilts,
Yes.
to know the work and value of this item that she spent so much time working on. Um, at what point did you realize that it was important to you and that you wanted to continue the legacy of quilting and textile work?
It was, matter of fact, in 2001, when I started at Benedict College.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Again, I'm always to myself. So we was in painting class. I would take fabric to class, and I didn't understand then why I was taking fabric to painting class or drawing class. Even my sculpture class, I would take fabric or any type of mixed media items with me and do my artwork with.
Mm.
So one of my professor, or two of my professors, Tyrone Jeter and John Wright, was telling me about Faith Ringo. And they was like, well, you need to look up Faith Ringo. She's a quilter, and this might be something you are into. And I'm like, okay, well, my grandmother was a quilter. So are y'all telling me quilting is an art form? And they were like, go research. So I started researching about Faith Ringo.
Mhm.
And ever since then, I was like, wow. So I was in this house all my life with an artist and did not know she was actually an artist telling a story through our quilts using clothing.
Yes, yes. Faith Ringgold is such an inspiration, right? And so
She's
she
like
was
my auntie in my head.
right, right.
So just
Both,
imagine when she had passed, my
yeah,
students had felt so sorry for me.
yeah, yeah.
So I was like playing her videos every day, like, oh, she was from New York. I had a
Yeah.
connection.
Hmm.
So
Hmm. And she's both a quilter and a painter, right? She is an artist in the large
yes.
sense of the word.
Hmm.
And so, is that also why you feel a connection to her? Because you do quite a few, like you are a mixed, although you
Yeah,
work with
a mixed
textiles,
media.
right? You
Hmm.
are a mixed media artist. So,
Yes.
tell us a little bit more about the other things, the other ways you create art.
Okay, so a lot of my, because I'm looking around at some of the quilts that I have. So my mother is not a quilter, but she taught me how to embroider. So I
Mhm.
try to keep the connection of her and my grandmother because they look so much alike.
Yes.
So so I keep those two connections of my quilts.
Mhm.
So my grandmother taught me how to quilt. My mother taught me to embroider. So I connect both of them. But I'm also dab a little bit in painting. I'm not the great painter. If you leave it up to one of my professors, I'm not the greatest painter. But I do add painting to the background of my quilts.
Right.
And then I start picking up a lot of applicating. One of my quilts, and I don't have her, she's in a show I
Mhm.
did at Benedict called Free. We went to Savannah, Georgia,
Mhm.
and I can't remember the name of the beach, but it was a white beach. And this happened years ago, and some black people went, and it was a riot there, and
Mhm.
people was killed and whatnot. And I pick up some shells from that, and I actually added the shells from
Mhm.
the beach onto that quilt of Free.
Got you.
So I do a lot of beach scene,
Mm.
and I don't know because I'm from South Carolina why I do the beach scene, but
Mm.
to me, I just feel like I'm closer to the ancestors
Yes.
when I do water scenes.
Yes. Yes. That connection of water and the sea and how we've always been one with our environment and the sea having a special unique connection,
Mhm.
right, because
Yes.
of all of the different ways we've connected to it as transportation, as life-giving. And I know that you had a or have a quilt in an exhibit centered around the sea, right, centered around mermaids,
Mm-hmm. Yep,
which
I'm
is
Black Mermaid.
yes, 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 yes. I love that, and I get that. I understand that. So that's wonderful. Um, it you've mentioned that Faith Ringgold inspires you. Are there any other artists that inspire you or that learn from, as you create your work?
Ooh, there's a lot of them. Well, my first artist was my brother, and then my
Mhm.
grandmother. Um, like I say, Auntie Faith.
Mhm.
um, Elizabeth Catlin was a big influence because she did a lot of pieces on motherhood and female empowerment.
Mhm.
So I studied her a lot. Um, oh gosh, it's so many because the Harlem Renaissance was my favorite era. So
Mhm.
sometimes I was like, I think I was born in the wrong time
Right.
because of the work that they did. So
Right.
I can't choose an artist from the Harlem Renaissance.
Mhm.
Um, but if you want to look at people now,
Mhm.
now Cookie um, Washington,
Yes.
she's like my other auntie, big
Mhm.
sister.
Mhm.
Um, I think Cookie had been pushing me a lot lately. I
Mhm.
would call her or we would see each other and she'll, give me a lot of encouraging words. So I
Mhm.
do look up to her for that. I have been looking at um, Beasley Butler a lot lately
Mhm.
for her
Mhm.
work. And she will be at the National Art Education Association conference.
Oh, okay.
And I will be there. Yes. Hopefully, I'll be able to get into one of her workshops because I
Mhm.
registered late, but I will be there to hear her keynote speaking. So
Nice.
hopefully, I'll be able to meet her. But it's just so many people, even in our group. I mean,
Mhm.
I look up to all of y'all. Um, I look at y'all work, and because I was kind of scared to join the group.
What? What?
I was. I told Yolanda this. I was like, I have never joined a quilt group before.
Mhm.
All these years I was quilting, I was afraid to join a group because I does everything by hand. And a
Mhm.
lot of quilts that I've seen was by machine. And I was like,
Mhm.
I don't know. And then I'll go to these shows and I'm like, wow, I can't do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I keep on saying, maybe I should go to the machine. And then it feel like the ancestors be pulling me back like, but
That's
that's not
right.
so I think by me being with y'all in this group of sisters, y'all encourage me more.
Oh
So
my goodness. I have to tell you again that resonates, right? Like you're in this. There are so many quilters and quilt artists.
mhm,
One that are just so humble, right? That and welcoming.
mhm.
You get in the room with these folks, and you're like, should I be here?
I
And
know.
if you're here, right, when you're here, you're like, I need to
Yeah, got to step that game up because
step my
even when
game up. Right.
I do the show in Atlanta with Miss OV,
Mm-hmm.
and I have been doing it for many years and have never gone to the show.
Wow.
But I went last year and I was like, can my quilt really stand up to some of these people here? And Miss OV was like, I would never choose you. You wasn't.
There you
So
go. There
I
you
was
go.
like, okay. And
Yes.
then when we did the John Lewis quilt,
Mm-hmm.
and I got the email about the African American Museum out of Charleston wanted it, and I'm like, at first I didn't even like that quilt because I felt like it had gave me so much issues, but the more I kept looking at it, and matter of fact, Cookie was with me when I got that email, and I
Mm-hmm.
told her what they wanted, and she said, "And are you going to sell it?" She
Right.
said, "Why you surprised? You
Right.
need to go ahead and do it." I was like,
Right. Well, I can tell you, having seen your quilts, and we're going to talk about the one that's hanging behind you in a few minutes, having been in exhibits, right? This last exhibit we were in together, Um, Personally, I will say your quilts um, deserve to be where they are, right? Deserve to be among the artists that you admire, that you look up to, because they are gorgeous. You
Thank
can see the intention, in which you create them, the
you.
stories behind them. They are fantastic. So,
Thank you.
I know we get in our feelings sometimes,
We do.
and it is up to our sisters and our family members, right? Even the larger community, that when I say family, to like continue to encourage us.
Hmm.
But this is art. This is what comes from us. And so I'm a firm believer in it being where it's supposed to be and not questioning it, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I'm trying not to do that.
is what it is. And I think that's why another thing. I think this is why you are so great at what you do, right? Because there is always it seems an energy of curiosity and of learning and of growth that I feel from you, right? And so I love it. And you're an educator. So you spend your time creating and encouraging young people to lean into their art, right? And to
Oh,
learn and grow. So tell us a little more about that. How did you get into education, and tell us about the
ooh.
groups that you work
Um, mm,
with?
I am going into 22 years of educating.
Wow.
It was not planned.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, it was not planned.
Mm-hmm.
I always wanted to be a art curator,
Mm-hmm.
and I got that from looking at a different world. I
Gotcha.
wanted to be Whitney. I wanted to be in the museum. I wanted to go traveling. I just wanted to go buy art.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was crazy because we went to this school district when we was in college, and it was the environment there, and I was like, I was making jokes about it. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, Joe Clark need to be here. Da 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 da. A year or two later, who's there?
Right.
First year art teaching. I'm at in that district.
Gotcha.
Um, I don't know. If I would say it fell in my lap. I already had my daughter and my son then by then,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't want to, I don't know, do all the traveling that I really wanted to do with
Mm-hmm.
two small kids. I'll leave them at home with my mom. Wish she had them the first year when I went out to teach because
Mm-hmm.
the school district wasn't at home.
Mm-hmm.
So I started teaching art, and I'm still here.
All right. Amen.
22 years later.
22 years later, first of all, let me just say 22 years, right? You look 22, your own self.
Thank you. I
So,
wish I felt that way.
which means to me, in all seriousness, that you have to be doing something you love, right? And even in the work that comes with education, to be doing it in an area that you find that brings you so much joy, you know what I mean, is all part of the process and all part of, I think, what keeps your spirits high, keeps you creating, and keeps you
Hmm.
connected. And I just want to shout out, there's a comment from Keem Ski One that says, "Hey mom." So
Hey, Hakeem.
your people are watching, and that's how you represent. Thank you. So I love that. I used to teach as well, so I get that, but I wasn't teaching
He was
art.
my student.
He was your student.
I had both of my kids as my student.
Love it.
But
Love
with
it.
me teaching, my
Yeah.
kids tell me I'm like a whole different type of art teacher
Mm-hmm.
because I don't teach from the book. Um, I think I teach from life. Um, when the school I'm at now, I had a teacher come up to me. She was like, "All right, this is what I don't want to see. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to see them drawing flowers every day. I don't want to see this. I don't want to see that." I said, "You're not going to see that because where we from, these kids don't see flowers every day. They got
Mm-hmm.
to draw what they see.
Got
They
you.
got the whatever is in their neighborhood, and that's what I tell my kids. You cannot draw something that your neighbor is drawing because
Mm-hmm.
you don't know what's going on in their life, in their household, and they don't know what's going on in your household.
Got it.
So your artwork need to tell something about yourself.
Right.
So
Right.
whatever topic I give them, I tell them to make sure they put their self in it. Like
Yeah.
one year, I had a bunch of football players,
Oh.
and the coaches was like, "Well, we haven't heard anything bad about you, so they must be fine with you." I said, "Yeah, I let them watch the plays or whatnot, but they have to be doing their work." Now I know when the time for them to turn in their assignment, who work it is if they don't put their name on it because it's some football related. It's in their assignment. I
Right.
don't care what the topic is, some type of football, something is in their work.
Mm-hmm.
So I let them kind of choose their um their subject matter
Mm-hmm.
or their media because everybody's not a painter.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to collage all year, long as it's on the topic that I asked for, I let them
Mm-hmm.
collage.
Nice.
So I try to stay on their level
Mm-hmm.
and try to make that level a little higher for them.
Right. Right. And I mean, did you find that because you allowed them to choose their medium and their subject matter, that they were more engaged,
Hmm.
right? Yeah, that they were more connected to it, and you gave them the freedom to demonstrate, a skill or an art or creativity that they may not have been able
Yeah,
to.
because I had one student, she walked in first day of class. I don't like art. I'm not doing art.
Oh,
Da 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 da. And I'm like, okay, that's
wow.
you.
Mm-hmm.
Week later, she was like, "Oh, this is what I got from Walmart. I got the sketching pad, and I'm doing X, Y, Z." And I was like, "Well, you told me you're not doing art. You don't like art." And I keep reminding her that. And just she's already graduated from high school, and she's still doing her art.
See, see, right? I mean, clearly you are the type of instructor, because you love what you do, right? I think, of course, students feel that they know it's important, and it is contagious. It is contagious, and so she found value in that, and that is attributed to you as the leader and creator of that classroom and that environment,
And
right?
then I allow them to see me do my work as well. So
Yes.
I bring in the quilts, and I have some that does quilts with me.
Hmm.
So
Hmm. Have your students ever worked on a project with you? Nice.
yeah, I had one for last week. I wanted to show her how to do it, and I was like, you know what? I'm working on what you about to do with your own quilt here.
Right.
And she was like, "But this is for one of your shows." I said, "Here." And she said, "I see it. I'm gonna mess it up. Here."
Right.
I was like, "You got to start somewhere, so it's right here." So
Yeah.
she started embroidering.
Oh, I love it. I
Mhm.
love it. And in an age when the arts have been kind of removed from the classroom, so kudos to the school district that still sees the need, right?
Mhm.
And is funding and supporting artistic endeavors in the schools because, when it's been a while since I was teaching, but I know that they started to kind of pull arts and things.
Well, South Carolina Art Commission have really helped me out a lot
Good,
with supplies for the classroom. So
good. Shout out.
shout out to the South Carolina Art Commission.
Right. Right. That's awesome. That is fantastic. So we've learned about your education. We've learned about or your role in education. We've learned about how you came to quilting. Let's talk a little bit about your style of quilting. Right. So you're mixed media.
Hmm.
You brought different items, different things to your quilt composition. But if you had to describe yourself in like one sentence, what kind of quilter or artist are you? We'll give you a little leeway because you do more than just quilt. But let's talk. Tell us a little bit in one sentence what kind of creator you are.
Um, I am a mixed media quilt artist that tells stories from the ancestors.
Amen. And there it is.
Yeah.
I love.
Everything come to me from a vision. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I always say God and the ancestors.
Yes. And it is an ancestral practice, right? To create this art in every stitch,
Mm-hmm.
in every piece of the composition. I love that. And I can see that in in the pieces that I've seen of yours. So let's segue and talk about the quilt that is hanging behind you.
Okay.
Tell us what you want to tell us about it.
Ooh, goodness, her legacy. So this is my grandmother, Sally Cooper Wilson, the one who taught me how to quilt. And why I call it her legacy because she is holding the HBCU quilt.
Mhm.
And we are a big, proud family. The Wilson family is proud of being HBCU graduates. Um, Ever since I was a child, I will always hear her tell the other cousins
Mhm.
about going to college and always supporting HBCUs. Um, you know, I was trying, it's alphabetical order, but it so happened it started off with Benedict, which is my school.
Mhm.
So I attended Benedict. I also have Bennett. My daughter's a graduate from Bennett, and she was Miss Bennett when she was there.
Mhm.
And then we have Claflin University's next. Two of my cousins went to, well, one cousin already graduated from Claflin, and is one attending now.
Mhm.
We've got Hampton University, one of my cousins graduated from there. Howard, my cousin and his daughter is a graduate from there.
Mhm.
Morris College, well, I started at Morris and then transferred to Benedict.
Mhm.
Um, but my uncle, I think he went to Morris for when he became a pastor,
Mhm.
graduate from Morris. Norfolk State, another cousin. So all of these are cousins.
Mhm.
State University, Hakeem, my son,
Okay.
and he played football there. I guess I had to say South Carolina State University, where the
Mhm.
majority of my family went. So I know they barking somewhere right now. Um, and Yolanda, if you listen, them puppies, and that's what we call them at home. We call them puppies.
The puppies.
And I have Southern University, New Orleans. That's me. I received my master's there, museum studies.
Mhm.
So before we got on, me was talking earlier. I said now I have to add North Carolina Central because my son just received his master's from there, and then
Excellent.
one of my cousin got his master's from Allen University. So I'm thinking about should I do like a quilt rack and have another quilt hanging and
Mhm.
add these other um, HBCU or just do frames of them. So I'm not sure. And then the picture up to the top are some of the family members. We did a backdrop when my son graduated from state, not state, I'm so sorry, from Shaw
Mhm.
University, and all this had on our shirts.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So,
And this picture is actually from a photograph of my grandmother. We just had one picture of her sewing on the porch. So I took
got you.
that picture and created her sitting in the house holding our HBCU quilts.
Lovely. Lovely. And folks, thank you. You will see this quilt in the shop here in Rayford, and in the show notes and in additional clips, we will send a close-up image of the quilt so you can dig in and see. What I love about this, LaToya, and I'd love for you to talk a little bit more
Oh,
about
and
this.
everything hand stitched.
Everything is hand stitched, right?
Mhm.
Hand stitched, which is exceptional, which is fantastic. Please, I can't tell you how to do your art, but hand stitching is fantastic. And then you take that time to do that. it is magnificent. So that is the way you create your art. Please do whatever you feel like you need to do for your piece, but do not doubt the beauty and the legacy that is the hand stitching. That is magnificent. Just a couple of comments are coming in, so I just want to share. I posted them on the screen, but I want to kind of tell you what folks have been saying. So Desiree Wilson, 5119, says living history. Yes, ma'am.
Cousin.
Yolanda McCutcheon said Hamptonian and a Wilson. Yes. And Desiree again, beautiful hearts in the rainbow. And then Yolanda Sanity says, hey, Yolanda, exceptional. And I agree. It is exceptional. And I think what is so exciting about that too is that it's a living piece, LaToya, right? So it's not like you created it and it's done and you're not going to ever touch it again. What I hear you saying is that you are going to continue to add to the piece, because it is part of your family legacy, which I think is just awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Do you often do that with your pieces, or a lot of your pieces kind of finite and done, and this is just one that is because it's your family, you want to keep adding to it? Or do you find yourself sometimes going back to add or embellish your creations?
Some of them I do go back. I had a piece in a show for South Carolina State when they did the I think the theme was from African dance to African American line dance. So I just received it back. So I'm adding more stuff to it.
Nice.
And
Nice.
then as I'm looking around in the room, there are some pieces that I did add some things to for other shows. I had done maybe two quilts that was not quilts at one time. They was just fabric collages that I had on canvas, and I pull them off the canvas and turn them into quilts. And then some of them I may go back and do a little fine painting to them, glaze on them, or something like that too. And then I had one piece. When I say that I talk to my quilts, I this one water. I don't know if you saw water before. The one of the lady, she's bald headed. Well, she had hair at one time. She had blue hair. She had a whole different background, and it was just something about her that I did not like. And it was like I was arguing with a human. We fuss and we fight. I ball her up. I stuff her down in the bag. I threw her in the corner, and I let her just sit there for a while.
Wow.
And then one day before Joanne's closed, I was in the store, and I was just pushing my cart around, and two fabrics fell from the shelf. I said, Lord, I hear you. Thank you. It was a water background that I really wanted, and it was a piece for another piece that I kind of visioned. And then I brought it back to the studio. I cut her out of the old one. I cut the hair out, and I started working on her. And then someone came in the studio, and they was like, "She is so beautiful.
Wow.
Like she looked like me with no hair."
Wow.
And the lady had just cut her hair, and she said, "This is me." So I just kept her going. I didn't add the hair back on, I guess.
Right.
And another piece, I added some hair on there, and it just did not fit. I had some other studio mates in here. Guys, they ain't even know no better. I was like, "How does hair look?" They're like, "Oh, it's nice." I said, "No." So I got mad with it. I walk out. I'm like, I'm going to buy more hair. I came back, and something just told me, "Don't pull the hair out. Just cut it. Just cut it this way." So I just started cutting it, and it came out to the hairstyle that I really wanted. I wanted like that 1920, 1930 hairstyle.
Mm,
And usually I would just pull the whole hair out, but this one I just cut it.
right.
So, like
I
I said,
love.
I have to listen to the ancestors. I make jokes sometime in here. I'll be like, because one day I was in here and I just kept seeing vision of different things. And I was like, okay, I need to leave out my studio. I said, the ancestors talking too much. I said, oh, y'all talking too much in here. And so I left and I came back and I apologized.
Hmm.
I didn't mean anything. I don't want y'all to stop talking to me because that's the only way I can do my work.
Right.
Because I did a Harry Tubman piece and I thought I was finished. And I guess Auntie Harry was like, you're not done.
Mm.
So I kept adding on. I was like, the deadline is like tomorrow.
And
Uh,
you kept going.
I kept going because she wanted me to add something to it. So
Right.
I kept adding.
Mm. Amen. The connection to between the ancestors and your pieces, right? Is I think you can feel it, you can see it, in your pieces, and just the way you approach your work is huge. And so, thank you for sharing that because I think sometimes, and particularly new artists, may have a difficult time embracing that.
Mm-hmm.
As
People think you crazy.
they
And
right.
I get that look sometimes when people be like, you sure you're all right? So,
But yeah, you're all right. All right. And I think it's important for folks to hear that. You
mm-hmm.
know, so thank you for sharing that because art, although we sometimes decide to share it with the community, um, it is such an introspective thing to do that you do get sensitive about it. You do get, concerned about the perception of it and, how you came to the work. But the most, from what I can tell, from what I can see, is, the most creative folks, embrace that
Mm-hmm.
and lean into that. This is who I am. I am an artist. This is how I approach my work. And like I'm not doing it really for you. I'm doing it because I'm called to create,
Mm-hmm.
and you can appreciate it or not, but it's still here and I'm here, so I love that. I love that.
Because I've been in a little argument about my piece before.
Hmm.
So this guy asked why I always put doves in my work or why God hand in my work, and I tell him if he didn't like it, he didn't have to look at it. And
Hmm.
kept it going.
There you go.
So,
There you go.
mhm.
So you've talked a little bit about, you know, your process, how you continue, and if something doesn't sit right with you, then you start again, or you can keep going until it does, right?
Mhm.
What has been the most challenging project for you? Um,
The John Lewis piece.
the John Lewis piece. Hmm.
Um, I had what less than a month
Mm.
to get that piece done, and usually when I do people, I don't do the whole detail in the face like I did with him.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a little challenging, and then I was doubting myself a lot with the piece.
Mm.
So I would do a little piece, and then I would take pictures of it, and then I would ask other people about it. And then some of the people I was asking was non-artists, and then they would say something that I didn't too much care for what they say,
Mm-hmm.
and then I would get upset, and then I would finally like, you know what, I need to get with artists that know what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So I think with the John Lewis piece was more like a painting with thread type,
Mm-hmm.
because I was doing the value scales and this and that. So that was something that was my first one.
Got
And I
you.
wanted to look like him. And I was like, the first time I started, it had looked like somebody else, and then it, the feature had started changing and it looked like somebody else. And I was like, I have 3 weeks
Mm-hmm.
done. So a lack of sleep, Um, just staying in one spot. Usually when I'm crunch time like that,
Mm-hmm.
I'll stay up all night. I think it was a week that we was out for school, so I wouldn't move from the table, and that was the same way with the mermaid.
Gotcha.
Um, the mermaid wasn't difficult, but it was just a lot of hand work with it because I sewed all those sequence.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm.
but with the John Lewis, it was more of making sure it looked like him,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to honor him because of who he was.
Yes.
Um, he was such a powerful man, leader, and then with me being a Zeta, he's a Sigma. It was
Mm-hmm.
like that blue and white family bond in there. So I
Yes.
said, I got to get this right. This is my frat brother, so I can't have him looking any kind of way.
Right.
That's my frat brother.
Right.
And then I was doing more research because I love to research my stuff before I actually do the work.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I didn't. I think I did pretty good.
I'm sure you did.
Could
and,
have done better, but
and well, and nobody would know that but you, Latoya, right? You know the standard to which you want to achieve with your, with your art.
mm,
But I think the average person, will not know. They'll be marveling at what it took to get where you ended up, not thinking about everything else that you could do. You know what I'm saying?
again with the fabric, the border, I was like, okay, make sure it's the right type of border.
Hmm.
And so when I saw that border and looked like people was marching, I said, yes, this is the right one.
That's it.
And then that was the first time I ordered from Spoon Flower.
Yes.
So that where I got the fabric from. I collage all the pictures of him, and I
Hmm.
make sure it was blue.
Hmm.
So yeah, that was my most challenging piece. And then this piece here was the next challenging one because I wanted to make sure it favored my grandmother.
Got you. Got you. I want to back up on something that you said really quickly that I think would be valuable for artists to hear. You mentioned Spoonflower, and this is not necessarily an advertisement for Spoonflower, but tell us a little bit about what you did. You said that you were able to use them, you created a collage, and
Mm-hmm.
then what? Then you had them develop the fabric for
Fabric,
you.
yes. Mm-hmm. So I did the collage. I sent it online,
Hmm.
gave them my image, and then got it like within a week.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
fabric is there. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love it. And the reason why I wanted to backtrack on that is because, again, this is another opportunity to learn a different technique or a way to approach getting what you need to
Mm-hmm.
achieve the vision that you have for your piece, right?
Mm-hmm.
So oftentimes we can be limited by what we think are the only ways that we can get something done,
Yeah, because like with these here, these are printed. I use
Mhm.
the fabric that you can actually print through
Your
the printer.
printer. Yes.
Where the John Lewis one was too large for me to do, so I was like, okay, I've heard of Spoonflower. Let me go ahead and try them, and they
Yes.
actually did the job.
Yes. Oh, I love it. And I love being free and creative enough to think about like what else can I do
Mm-hmm.
to, to again create my art. And if there's one thing that I know from our group, from our ladies, right?
We'll tell it all.
That's right. It's like, what else? What else can you do? What are you trying to do? And
Mhm.
how else can you do what it is that you want to do? So I love that. And thank you for
Mhm.
sharing
Yep,
that.
and I love that sip and soul that we have because if I
Yeah,
don't say nothing, I am writing down
that's
information that I can use for later.
that's right. That's right. So y'all, we're gonna put a plug in real quick for the National African American Quilters Guild,
Yes,
right? Which
big shout
occurs
out to them.
big shout out. Big shout out. So there will be more information on that in the show notes as well. And what I'd like to do and what we continue to do is all of the pieces that we talk through here will
Mhm.
be shown and in the show notes and all of that. So don't despair. you will be able to see the John Lewis piece and to see her legacy up close, to understand exactly what it is that we are talking about today. So I'm going to ask another question, LaToya. What is a technique that you would love to use that you know, have not thus far?
Mm. For some reason, I'm still trying to figure that out
Mm-hmm.
because I have done the printmaking. I have
Mm-hmm.
done printmaking on some of my work. Well, you could consider that as printmaking.
Mm-hmm.
How you print the image onto the
Yes.
fabric, and then I use stamps to print some stuff on there. I love Adica symbols, so
Mm-hmm.
I will do Adica symbols on my art piece. Painting a little bit more now onto my fabric. The one we did art to art,
Yes.
um, that was mostly paint.
Yeah. But that was paint and embroidery too,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
paint and embroidery.
Yes.
But for some reason, I think I want to add clay.
Oh.
Since I'm doing a lot of mixed media, I think I want to do clay mix.
Mm.
Because I'm here at Outline Studio in Lake City, and it's different artists here.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a pottery artist. Well, she do more than pottery. Tiffany Thomas. And
Mm-hmm.
I told her just the other night, I think I want to add clay to my quilt.
Wow.
Haven't haven't seen the vision yet, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting to see that and how that could happen.
Yeah. Oh, just the thought of that is like exciting. So, we will be waiting. That you said it, no pressure, right? But we'll be waiting to
No pressure, no pressure,
no pressure.
no pressure.
How
But I'm
you
gonna have some. It coming. It's
yeah, it's gonna come. It's gonna
coming.
come. And I love the natural element of that, right?
Hmm.
So the cotton, the textile, right? The clay, the connection to the earth, the water,
Hmm.
the painting, all of that is just very natural is what I'm getting, you know what I mean?
And then
So
again, I think I want to do a little bit more soft sculpture. Back to
mm,
Faith Ringo again. She
yes.
did like soft sculpture to some of her stuff. I think I
Yes.
want to. Well, it's a piece that I have been seeing for a couple of weeks now
Mm-hmm.
that I want to do. And it's so crazy about that with me seeing vision of artwork in my head.
Right.
I guess people just be like, "This child is going crazy, really." But was it last year? And since Yolanda's online, she know the story. Um, Last year I was in the hospital. It might have been the year before.
Mm-hmm.
They kept me in the hospital saying they saw something on my brain.
Mm-hmm.
And when I told her, she was like, "Ain't nothing on your brain but quilts." So that night I had the worst headache. And I
Wow.
called my mom. I was like, I don't have my computer. I don't have no paper. I
Mm-hmm.
have nothing. She said, go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Just get off the phone, go to sleep, and your headache will go. I could not go to sleep.
Mm.
So something just tell me pick up my phone. I went to my notes and I just started typing. 5 art quilts I type out because I usually don't sketch my work.
Mm-hmm.
I would write out a title. I might put some keywords beside it,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it. I don't sketch too much of my stuff unless I'm making a pattern to cut out.
Right.
After those 5 quilts that I wrote out in details,
Mm-hmm.
the headache went away. I went to sleep. They ran tests the next morning. They said they couldn't find nothing on my brain. I
Wow.
text Yolanda. I say, I guess it was quilts on my brain. I couldn't find anything.
Right. Oh wow. Wow.
So,
Oh, that is powerful.
I guess me and Auntie Harriet Tubman may have something in common.
There you go. There you go. Well,
So,
again, glad that they didn't find anything. Glad that there are the quilts that
mhm,
needed to get out, right?
yes.
And to be shared with the world and to be, created. I love that. I love that your Yolanda spoke what it is that she knew, right? And that
Hmm.
you just need to get that out. You need to
Hmm.
get those quilts, right? That's what was waiting for
Yep,
you.
it was the quilts. It was time
Yeah,
for me to write them down.
it was there you go. There you go. It also speaks to what it means to live in your passion, right?
Mhm.
And what it means for your art to translate into this kind of physical experience too, you
Mhm.
know. So I think that's huge. I think that's really significant, even as we, you know, add a little bit of humor to it. I
Mhm.
think it's something to be said for the need to, to have this building up and then the need to get that art out.
Yes.
And
But I
yes,
guess it was trapped.
yes, it was trapped. And Yolanda, yes, you were right. She's in the comments. um, Yolanda has a question that I'm going to ask, and I'm gonna put it up on the in the banner too. She asks, "What is your goal for your art to be exhibited?"
Mm. What is my goal?
Mm-hmm.
For people to understand the stories behind them.
Mm,
Um, because as quilters, that's what we are. We are storytellers.
yes.
So I just want them to know what are we trying to tell them
Mm-hmm.
in a different form.
Mm-hmm.
That our quilts speak for us. We don't have to read
Yes, I love that. Our quilts speak for us. Amen. Amen. Oh, and as always, we are coming up on time. We still have a little more time left, and we know that we can get in these conversations and talk and talk and talk and talk. And I know that you have several projects that you are working on.
Oh goodness.
Um, I know as we were talking that you're set up to like move right back into that creative work that you're doing right after we get off this call. So I have two more questions for you.
Okay.
One is, what's next for you?
So I did my artist in residence at the Richland County Library in Columbia. I finished that in December. So now my solo show will be opening February the 27th, which
Mhm.
is coming up around the corner.
Yes.
So a lot of these pieces that's in the studio now is heading to Columbia on Friday for them to
Mhm.
go ahead and start hanging. I have two community quilts where the community came in and did blocks. So I'm putting those together.
Mhm.
That's one quilt, and the other quilt they did this event called Overdue, where they
Mhm.
after the library was closed, it was like a library club, like a club where they had live band performing, they had
Mhm.
other little activities going on, and so my activity was people was dancing, and then they came up to the fabric that was hanging, and they drew on
Mhm.
it. So it was like
Nice.
another community project. So
Yes.
still working on that, getting that together, and um, Wednesday is well, I don't think it's an opening, but they're doing a reception with some art teachers. We in Somerville, South Carolina. So
Mhm.
I have a quilt there. Also, I was in a show called Heritages that's in
Mhm.
North Charleston. That's still up.
Mhm.
I have a piece there. I'm trying to think of where everything at. I know it's two more shows. They traveling.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know exactly where they at right now. Um, I will be speaking at Mary Bowman University in Virginia
Mm-hmm.
um, for Women Month. So
Okay.
I'm going to talk about women in quilting.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be talking about um, Faith Rango and how she opened the door for us as
Mm-hmm.
quilters and women
Yeah.
artists. And we'll see what the Lord have next for me.
Hey, and we know based on what you've said and how you are in this space that there is more ahead,
Mhm.
right? That
Oh,
there
I
is
got to get those pieces for the 250.
for the 250, yes. And the art to art challenge is still traveling. It's in
Oh,
the
art to artists in Texas.
yes, yes,
Like I said,
yes. So
we got so many stuff out there too. I just don't remember where
I
everything at
know.
right now.
I know it's a blessing, right?
Mm.
That your name and your legacy is making its way around the world, and so we thank you for that, for taking the time to share your again your art, your passion, your legacy with us. I'm going to show your information here, but tell the good people where we can find you and keep up with you.
All right. So on Instagram, you could is at Artistic Vision 76. And then on TikTok, it's LaToya Thompson 94. Facebook is LaToya Thompson or Artistic Vision. I have two pages for Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And
Awesome.
I do have a website. It's Artistic Vision by LaToya C. Thompson.
Okay. And we will again put all of this in the show notes. We will include it under the video on the Parliament Quilts and Crafts page. Like and subscribe here on YouTube and find us on Facebook as well. I like to leave with a message for an aspiring quilter. And I will, because you are a mixed media artist, I will say for an aspiring artist. What would you like to share? What would you say to someone who, again, aspires to move in the direction in which you are moving?
Be you and be the greatest you.
There you go. There you go. I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it. Oh, Toya. Toya. As a sister with the love
Oh,
ahead
goodness.
of the name.
Oh, they ain't hanging today.
I just want to say thank you so much. It has been an
Thank you for
honor.
having me.
You are so welcome. It's been an
Mhm.
honor and a privilege to talk with you today. This is just the beginning, right? So we're not finished.
Mhm.
We may have to come back for an extended conversation.
Oh, yeah.
Um, it is a lovely thing to watch you and to watch what you do and to be in community with you. So thank you on behalf of the Sunday Sewcase audience. We appreciate you. We can't wait to see what else it is that you share with us,
Mhm.
and stay tuned. Always stay connected. And as I tell folks, take good care and make good quilts. So we
Yes.
will see you next time for the showcase. Those of you who come in the store in about 2 weeks, you'll be able to see her legacy hanging in the shop, and you can experience it and see it for what it is. But stay tuned, and we look forward to seeing you for the next Sunday showcase. So thanks again,
Bye.
and take good care.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.